Hello, welcome to Pure Tarot. Today I'm doing an all signs reading, meaning ranging from Aries through Pisces. And I want to explore the theme of I love my life. And the reason for that is that tomorrow there's a new moon in Leo happening on the same day as what we call the Lion's Gate. I'm not going to do an expose on Lion's Gate. You can surf on the internet and find everything you need to know about what that thing is, or that phenomenon, or simply, I guess what you call this passage. Anyway, back to the theme of I love my life. So the idea is because the new moon is happening in Leo, it obviously puts the emphasis on our hearts and our capacity to love and to be loved, which is very important, should be reciprocal. So to do this reading, I'm using the Good Tarot by Colette Baron-Reid. And because it's I Love My Life, I've placed all the cards upright. I typically read with reversals, but I'm not going to do so in this case. So let's just start. Let's start with Aries and see how they feel about loving themselves and loving others. First card, Page of Earth. I'm only going to draw maybe 2 or 3 cards, not much more. I just want a feel for how that plays for them, or how that expresses itself for them in their lives. Many cards fell, more than I thought. Ace of Water, which is Ace of Cups. You have the Hangman and Patience. So that's interesting. What's interesting about it, and the reason I'm putting emphasis on that, is because your reading ends on 2 major arcana, and the way they fell, this one was kind of a bit withdrawn from the 2 other ones. So I kind of want to space them out and keep the arcanas together, the major arcanas together, and maybe read as a 1, 2, 3. So dear Aries, Page of Earth, definitely a good solid base for a new beginning in terms of loving yourself. Pages are typically something sparking, budding, beginning, all of that kind of new life, which is totally in line with the new moon energy. It's beautiful. And it promises a lot of growth because it's earth element. And definitely a lot of really good ideas, your antennas. Those are obviously more of the, I guess you would say from like a deer, I don't know how you call those, les bois en français, in French. Sorry, I'm missing the word, but those are antlers, that's it, that's what I was looking for. So antlers, but antennas as well, right? So you're very connected. So that's very beautiful. And you're so connected that you're growing wings. So that's really indicating that you're feeling lighter and lighter. So love is something that you are, welcoming more and more in your life. Quite beautiful. And then the Ace of Water also is bringing, it's such a beautiful energy because it is the card out of the whole deck that's probably the epitome of loving yourself, loving life, loving others. It is absolutely, it's the holy grail of that principle, if you want to call love a principle. To a certain extent it is, but, everything's relative. That could be a long debate. Anyway, so just to tell you, definitely there's lots of love in your life. So you are actually opened or opening because you're still in the page energy, but the Ace of Cups here is really telling me that you're opening wide. You know, there's quite a breach here. It's beautiful. And so you're going to be very blessed tomorrow when this energy comes in, because literally you will feel this. You will definitely have, you'll be showered with love, you know, either through friends or family, or, you know, maybe you have a partner or someone you are interested in. You know, definitely it bodes very well. And then we've got these major arcanas, which are quite interesting because it's like a footnote to this story. But quite a footnote, obviously, because it's too major. And so Hangman and Patience, basically, it's, you know, Hangman is something, you know, you are suspended, you are waiting for something, you are in limbo, and it's a form of limbo where you are maybe choosing to I guess empty your mind of any thought, or even your heart, empty your heart of any bad negative emotions, anything that could have, you know, that could hinder what's happening here with these two previous cards, you know, opening up and welcoming all of this light and love coming towards you. And so it's making you you're analyzing it, but not in a mental way. It's this suspension is making you placing you in a place of receptivity. And it's quite beautiful because it's like a well-deserved moment in time where you need to let it come in. And if you don't stop yourself, the way the Hangman is actually, you know, stopped and hanging, and he's not going anywhere, he's not moving. So this energy is actually stopping you so that you can actually say, okay, you're able to see that there's love in your life. You're able to see that someone else is giving it to you, or others are, you know, not projecting, because that's a different kind of energy. But you know what I mean, that it's coming towards you as well. So it's a two-way street. And then the Patience is really just emphasizing the Hangman energy and asking you to see this suspended moment as something positive, and that should not be pressed or, you know, accelerated or rushed or even butched. You know, you don't want to butch this. You don't want to go like, I don't know, that's the word I get. So it's beautiful energy. It's just telling me it'll take more time, but definitely in terms of self-love and loving your life, tomorrow you can already access this, definitely. So there, that was Aries. Let's put all the cards back and move on to Taurus. That was beautiful. That's a beautiful way to start. Now let's see for Taurus. How is Taurus loving their life? They're saying it out loud. I know they're saying it out loud. I love my life. I love myself. Keep repeating that to yourself. All of you, Aries through Pisces, love your life. Okay, 2 cards. Let's do 2 cards for now. 9 of Fire and the King of Water. All right, 9 of Fire is 9 of Wands in the other decks. Obviously, with this beautiful imagery, you know, it looks nothing like the typical, you know, warrior, wounded warrior that has a bandage and who's tired, exhausted, fed up, you know, sort of beaten down. This card is showing such a hopeful, I guess, not just hopeful, I mean, these beautiful bright stars, or, you know, the person's looking at these stars. So she's actually cherishing something, okay? There's something that, so in terms of loving your life, I think that you are gaining appreciation for, I guess, the awareness of wanting to love your life. I'm adding all these verbs, but I think what I'm trying to say is that there's definitely a distance between, there's the awareness of you, like observing yourself, loving life, and learning how to love life more or love yourself more, and cultivating that is what I'm trying to say. So, and because she's looking at it, there's sort of an energy of, there's a moment in time where it might not necessarily be present in your life. It's something that you are contemplating. It might be at a bit of a distance from you because, but at the same time, she's holding the stars in her hands. So I'm kind of ambivalent about, you know, how could that play out in your life? You would know whether it's more distant from you or not. But definitely you are playing, or at least, you know, you have it in the palm of your hand that you are, I guess, developing your capacity to love life and to love yourself fully. So I like that a lot. And then this takes you to the King of Water, which is the King of Cups, who is absolutely, I guess, he's like the benchmark of what, you know, mature emotions, and he knows to love life, and he knows to love himself, and he does. And he does it without complication. He does it with ease. He does it with simplicity and humility. And so it becomes really powerful because it's so effortless that it's like the air you breathe. And it infuses your life, you know, fully, from, you know, the smallest actions to the biggest events in your life. So you might be working on this to gain even more of this kind of emotional maturity, but definitely you have, you're more than on the right path. You are actually, you know, I guess at least halfway there. I mean, I don't want to put any measurement on this, but what I'm trying to say is that you already have a lot of emotions that are well channeled, and that you are able to love yourself, and you're able to be grateful, and you're able to, you know, appreciate and smile. So definitely you are loving life right now, Taurus. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, great. Let's do Gemini. I can't believe this. It's so positive. I love it. It's really it's lifting me as well to do this, right? I like that. Thank you. You see? I'm loving my life right now. Okay, guys, let's do Gemini. Let's see the kind of energy that Gemini is working on in terms of loving themselves. Come on, let's get in there. Let's see. Okay, Gemini is loving life. Gemini is loving himself or herself. What is Gemini doing, or how are they going about doing that? Let's see. That's many cards, but if you can see, this one wants to come out. Let's keep shuffling. By the way, Page of Earth, same as Aries. Geminis. Give me the energy for Gemini, for their loving themselves. Okay. Here we have the Star. We have the Chariot and the Ten of Fire. Okay. Ten of Fire again is Ten of Wands for the correspondences. And again, Page of Earth, Page of Pentacles, right? So, again, as I was saying for Taurus about the Nine of Fire, which is Nine of Wands, in this case here, Ten of Fire, Ten of Wands. These cards are, you know, the imagery really points to different kinds of energies. So I will not read it, I guess the more common interpretations that you might be hearing elsewhere. So I'll get to it, but I just wanted to premise that. Let's see. So same ideas as for Aries, right? I'm not wanting to repeat myself. You might have not heard the Aries message, but definitely the start of loving yourself, loving life more fully. You know, you're quite connected with your antlers, connected to source. It's making you grow wings, making you feel very light and cheery, and basically is opening you up to receive that kind of love in your life. So that's the basis. And then it's amazingly beautiful that you would have the star to follow, because the star is, you know, what you wish, what you envision, what you hope for. It's also the things that, you know, that you thought would never be possible becoming possible. So, I mean, if this page is connecting, right, he's connecting more and more, and he's becoming more and more receptive. Imagine the power of this beautiful energy of the rays of the stars, you know, showering him with more love and simply, you know, it's like pixie dust. It's quite beautiful. I really like it. And then for some reason, this particular energy works together, right? But then when I look at these cards, what I see is obviously movement forward with the Chariot. So it indicates to me that out of this particular experience, something happens, right? Something creates movement for you and brings you to this beautiful wheel of, I guess, burning letters. So what could that imply? Give me a second. I would like to think about this, please. So what I see here, and again, the idea of movement, because it's 10 of these beautiful letters being burnt in a circle. I sense the movement, right? So the Chariot is already movement forward, but then this gives me the, I guess I'm also feeling the Wheel of Fortune behind it. So definitely change on the horizon. But it's a change where, you know, there are things that you're burning from the past. So definitely, sorry, I'm stopping myself in my tracks because I have an idea that's coming. Let me just... I'm going to retract what I said. I don't feel it's maybe burning from the past, burning things from the past. I'll explain why. I guess it's because the card is placed at the very end of this reading. So I don't feel it as a past energy. So if it would have been here, I would have said, okay, you're burning past stuff to actually move forward. But this is not what I'm feeling anymore. So I want to... how I'm seeing it now is more these papers that are, these writings that are burning are actually extremely positive. It's like, it's fire in words, fire in ideas, fires in things that you write, fires in things that you create. So, and this has a lot of momentum. I think that's much more accurate in terms of what's happening. So, I mean, that would be a great, if I'm reading this story, it's like, this is your energy of tomorrow, right? And in the new moon, you're absolutely being showered with pixie dust of love from life and the universe. Amazing. I mean, I can't believe already all three signs. It's just so much love. Makes my heart swell. And then here, this actually just propels you. It's amazing. Really, really beautiful, Gemini. I'm so happy for you. So let's do Cancer. Let's see what lovely Cancers are up to here. Let's see. Dear Cancer. I was going to say Cancer loves to be loved, but I mean, I think all signs love to be loved. Everyone loves to be loved. And that's how things should be, or life, at least for me. Okay, Cancer. Let me see. How are you going about this new moon and loving life and loving yourself, my dear Cancers? How is that showing up for you? This one. Oh! I can't make this up. Page of Earth. Seriously. Okay. It's the theme of the day, or tomorrow, or at least, you know, today, tomorrow, Monday. Amazing. Okay. Cancers. Tell me. Show me, cards. How do they love life and love themselves? Show me. Okay, that's a lot. Doesn't matter. I'll read them all. Okay. 5 of Earth. There's a lot of, glare. 5 of Earth. 9 of Air. The Moon. Your card, Cancer. Definitely very emotional for you, this passage. And then the Queen of Earth, Queen of Pentacles. I'm very happy to see the Queen. Very, very, very happy to see the Queen. Bookmark your reading here as well. You know, both Page and Queen of Earth bookmarking this particular sequence here. Beautiful. I'm actually going to start in the middle, okay? Here's what I'm seeing. I see a lot of troubled energy here. I see a lot of lack, a lot of stress, and definitely a lot of confusion. But then this is being contained by these 2 presents here, which could be people in your life or your own growth. So you might be starting very small in terms of learning to love yourself, right? Learning to be grateful, to actually say it out loud, to maybe, you know, develop a small ritual for yourself, you know, lighting a candle. Some people have like small altars in their houses, you know, they offer, it doesn't have to be necessarily religious, but they sort of celebrate the fact that they're grateful, and that's really powerful. And then here, you know, you could be moving into from the Page energy into the Queen. So you actually, you know, you're growing, you're evolving and maturing in your emotions. And because it's the earth element, I want to say that your love for life is very grounded. And the simple pleasures of life are the things that are bringing you the most satisfaction, you know. So a good meal, maybe things as simple as, you know, your own comfort, knowing that you have a roof over your head, Cancer, you know, that your family appreciates you, that, you know, but also their appreciation being shown through like little small gestures, you know, like someone buying you a flower or you know, texting you a little something, you know, like these kind of things. And you're in dire need of that, because this energy in the middle here is really pointing to some kind of internal struggle for yourself. So I'm quite satisfied to see that you will have, if you plant the seed tomorrow, you will have all the help you need to change your perspective and to gain more appreciation, and eventually reach a higher state of what I call love with a capital L, you know, meaning seeing beauty in your life, seeing the beauty of life through the laughter of a child, or, you know, a ray of sunshine, or literally these small things. So nature, definitely connecting to nature, obviously with the earth element, would also be a very, very strong resource for you to wash away all of this confusion, the stress, the mental, you know, all of that exhaustion, and this sense of scarcity. and, you know, depletion. So that's quite beautiful. You're actually gonna come out victorious, like sort of, quote unquote. All right, Cancers, that's that. So let's move on to Leos. And since it's the new moon in Leo, I'm quite curious, you know, not wanting to put more emphasis on them necessarily, but let's see what comes up. So how are the Leos, how are they loving life? How are they loving themselves presently? The Seven of Fire. And then here. The Wheel of Fortune and Judgment. Here it's called Call. Sorry for the redundancy here. Okay. So for Leos, you know, Leos are the love unicorn of the zodiac, and I say this simply because obviously I see a unicorn here, but I'm also agreeing with that statement simply because love is, you know, Leo's, I guess, first and foremost experience of life. Leos profoundly are capable of very profound love. It's not always obvious because Leos they sometimes hide it under, you know, wanting a lot of attention, or, you know, how can I express this for you? All in all is that kind of wanting so much attention is because they need to feel loved and appreciated. So that's why it makes them the unicorn, because it singles them out of all the other signs in terms of the emphasis they put on love in their life. And Leos might be very unhappy if they don't find a partner, you know, or at least have different partners, meaningful partnerships, or, you know, I guess boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, no matter what you want to label it. But definitely, I think superficiality kills them. So really, this tells me that, you know, for them tomorrow, they will maybe even get a glimpse of this unicorn in their life. So maybe they will meet another unicorn, and they will meet, meaning they will meet someone really, really, really special, you know, that they might fall in love with. That would be great, extraordinary. And again, if it's not someone else, because the reading is about, you know, are you loving life and how are you loving yourself, then, you know, they might just, you know, kind of look in the mirror and see the unicorn there, and it's themselves, right? And they maybe will suddenly get a wake-up call of, wow, I need to love myself more, I need to appreciate life more, or I need to say it out loud, or I need to express it more, you know, to others, etc., etc. Any form that you are willing to explore, to express that in your life and make that energy manifest, right? And then here you have Wheel of Fortune and Judgment. So definitely love is a calling. And the wheel here is a little bit like we had just now with the Ten of Fire, this kind of, you know, revolving energy of, first of all, there's definitely, there's more than movement, I want to say, and especially with the Judgment here, right? I mean, it's analyzing its karma, things, you know, what goes around comes around. The idea that you know, you might be reworking something, and the fact that it's a wheel, it's like, okay, you went through one cycle for this kind of thing. You might have learned some lessons, but you might not be finished. A little bit like the idea of the world. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, for me, that's now I'm picking this up now, that I guess the blending the energy of these two is giving me a world energy, like a cycle, more of a cycle. Yeah, the idea of a cycle. So I guess you might be moving on, changing planes here in terms of where you're at with how you appreciate love, in a general sense for yourself. I think this will be very profound. Whatever unicorn you encounter in the coming days, it'll be very profound. It'll bring you a sense of calling. You will definitely see something for you that will be present for a very long time in your future. This is not small at all. Definitely not. Very, very, very powerful. I love it. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I'm doing this this reading. I'm getting pumped. All right, Virgos, what's up? How are Virgos loving themselves and loving life in general? What's happening for them? How is that expressing itself in their lives? How are they loving life, loving themselves? Virgo, Virgo. Loving your life, loving yourself, Virgos. Okay. Four of Earth. The World, and the Three of Water, so Three of Cups. Okay, so I'm glad to see the element Earth for Virgo, and I'm not, I'm actually, I'm also going to say happy to see the Four of Pentacles, because four for me is the square. Squares are solid, stable, foundational, structural, predictable. So all of these sort of keywords for me is telling me that Virgos are actually somehow having putting emphasis on that aspect of love in their life. So they need love to show itself. They need love to feel, I guess, yes, solid, but they want to see something. So they can't just, obviously love typically is, you can't grasp love, right? It's not something you can hold and contain. So Virgo is putting the emphasis on those things in their life, objects, and maybe the words that people speak to them, or, because for me, words do have substance. I mean, again, another debate we could open here, but the spoken word, okay, different from ideas. Again, a whole other chapter here that I'm not going to go into. So for me, loving life for Virgos right now is looking like putting down the four corners of their love life, or at least not necessarily just love life in terms of partnership, but the love, their self-love, maybe those four pillars are like, for instance, self-care, having enough money, and then a house, and then a group of friends or a partner. for example, right? But definitely think about 4 pillars for yourself in terms of how you could build on loving yourself, loving life more fully. So plant that seed tomorrow on the new moon. And you see, when you do so, the world opens up for you. Really, really beautiful. You could be traveling. You could be traveling in your mind. Definitely, it's taking you places. So out of a very solid foundation, you actually are able to launch yourself and open up to, you know, celebration and reuniting and getting close to people, you know, getting closer to people, which you might not have been able to do if you didn't have the solid square base foundation, you know. So that's very beautiful. It's very in line with Virgo's you know, practicality and yeah, it's very grounded, it's very manifest. I like it very much. Beautiful. All right, let's move on. Let's do Libras. Libra. How is Libra loving themselves? You know, Libras, sometimes very often they're so turned towards, you know, others and harmonious relationship with others that they're not as selfless as Pisces, but they do tend to forget themselves from time to time, right? And loving others more than themselves. So let's see what they're actually manifesting tomorrow in these few days on how to love themselves and love life more fully. We start with the star. Amazing. Good. Libras. I want to see more. Too many. Really too many. Okay. Libras. How are you loving yourself, Libra? Libra. I'm going to be quiet, okay? The Chariot. So two majors for you. Let me absorb this a little. It's I really get a Libran dichotomy. It's really interesting. I really see the double-sided nature of Libra here, because I believe that the star here is representing, you know, obviously the way they idealize love. So, but if I come back to the theme about, you know, loving life and loving themselves, I think that they're healing that part of their nature. Like I said, if they always tend to focus on others before themselves, right, they are not loving themselves and honoring themselves first and foremost. And so they need to heal that to be able to move forward and get somewhere with, you know, I guess move forward, not going somewhere. You know, this is not an energy in this case of going anywhere. You know, how could I maybe qualify this for you? So Libra, if, you know, once you've healed, or once you're more in tune with, you know, loving life and opening yourself up to being loved, and, you know, not just loving, but being loved in return, or requiring that others love you as well, you know, not just one-sided relationships. This really, for me, I see the black and white horse as yin and yang, you know, energies. So I think that you'll be much more balanced in terms of that give and take between you and others, especially in love. And then when it comes to life, I mean, it's interesting. I have this thought of you also balancing, you know, loving life and having life love you, you know. I think that you might have inadvertently been pushing blessings without realizing. And so by not welcoming life's love for you, you might have, you know, felt like you didn't have love in your life. It's a possibility, okay? I'm not obviously... these are complex energies because I'm working with only 2 majors. So hopefully that makes sense for you. I'm going to draw another card. You're getting the triple majors. The moon. I really like that, okay? It's really interesting because I think that you are going to go through, as much as you're healing here, I think that this for me, being a full moon, tomorrow's a new moon, but I'm saying maybe by the cycle of the full moon by the end of the month, I believe it's August 22nd, I see like the birth of something, right? It's like you'll be gestating, and eventually something new will appear, or you know, be revealed. So I think there's some kind of and this emphasizes the Chariot. So I mean, you're actually there's something that you're how can I say, I don't want to see, it's not walking, it's sort of like you know, same idea with the wheels that we were seeing in the other signs, is this sort of a I guess cycle, or it's evolution. Okay, that's the word. There's an evolution. So something is growing, and then you get a reveal. So you might, for you, at the end of the month or 3rd week of August will be very, very special. It's quite beautiful. And it's all major. So honestly, this will be, it could be, there's many ways to interpret that. You could say that it's all going to play out internally, or really strongly as well externally, or both. So it could be quite a pivotal moment, okay, as well. And if it's only internal, then no one will see it, which would make sense also with the moon here, but like being hidden but yet revealed. So take some, leave some. You will definitely have an experience of both something being hidden for a while that's gestating, as well as eventually a reveal and a birth. So that's amazing. Lots of love there. Love for yourself, love for life. All right, let's see what Scorpios, how are they going about that? You know, loving life. How is Scorpio loving themselves? What's the energy for that for them? Scorpio. Let's see. How are you loving life, Scorpio? How are you loving yourself? Two of air, 2 of fire, 9 of air, Fortune's wheel, and Page of water. Let's give me a moment, please. Okay. So I have a set of 3 cards here. So 2 of air, which is 2 of swords, 2 of fire, 2 of wands, and 9 of air, 9 of swords. There's a lot of ambivalence here. Scorpio has a difficulty right now to love themselves. And they do work on it. They really do want this for themselves, and they it's something that they you know, this lamp here hanging is like feels like a carrot dangling. So it's a bit like, you know, they have something that they're that is attracting them, that is dangling up there, and that they know that they can't reach just yet. And they can't reach it because they're in this energy of ambivalence, right? There's a lot of turmoil, and there's a lot of back and forth, up and down, you know. Here you've got these birds again circling, the same idea. There's all these wheels turning in these readings today, and definitely this new moon is the start of a new cycle. So hopefully in this case, because they're white doves, there's hope, right? There's hope for these thoughts and these ambivalences and negative emotions or whatever's just, you know, like dragging you down, that this will dissipate with this movement of, it'll get exited out, you know. So keep aiming for this, whatever dream this is, whatever this beautiful thing that you wish to attain. This is how you come out of it, right? And then I can't make this up, you have the wheel, so definitely it's turning for you. And look at that beautiful outcome, Page of Water. So that's the Page of Cups. You know, however you come out of this and however long it'll take you, in this case I have no idea on the timing of that, but definitely loving life right now. Loving life is a little more, it escapes you a little more right now, but things will change. And then you will eventually, you know, come to this new place, because it's a page energy. You will come to this new place, and like a new beginning, a new threshold, from which, you know, the landscape in front of you will look very different. So instead of having something that's dangling in front of you, you will have, the way I'm seeing it, you will have something laid in front of you, you know, that you can walk on, you know, like something that is there, and not just whimsical, you know, up there, maybe dreamy, illusion-y. I know that's not a word, like, but you know what I mean. So this promises a lot more, being much more in touch with your emotions. You will, at least the start of, you know, like getting more in touch with, you know, you're not yet a queen or a king of water, but you are definitely, you know, once you pass this threshold, or once you move out of this energy, you come to this threshold, I should say, where this new beginning takes place for you. So definitely plant the intention tomorrow on the new moon, so that, you know, this comes to you quicker than, you know, sooner than later. So there you go, Scorpios. Let's do Sagittarius now. Let's see how they're loving life, you know, how they're loving themselves. Let's see. Sagittarius. How are you loving life? How are you loving yourself? Oh, that's too many, sorry. Wow, Ace of Fire, the Fool, and the Justice. Strong, strong, strong energies right here. Clearly, Sagittarius, you have no qualms about loving life to the fullest. You are feeling this energy deeply within your bones. You're down to your marrow, right? You are infused with this sense of fiery love, you know, for life, and this enthusiasm. And, you know, it's really strong on this card. I love it. So loving life, loving yourself is all one, right? There's absolutely no separation between that for you. And I think that overspills into obviously how you love others and how you were so receptive in you know, initiating any kind of relationships. It's really strong and beautiful. And then followed by the Fool. I mean, you are just so how can I say this? The Fool is so naive, you know, like a beautiful like a young child who's just so you know, children are so welcoming of you know, of love. I can't express it. And so the Fool is this energy of not being scared of these, of the intensity of this love, even just the love of life, right? Just living your life intensely, strongly, and without fear and without any, you know, almost blindly, like naively, just like, you know, candid. That's the word. You're candid. Oh, I'm so glad I found that word. Anyway, and then it brings you to such balance. It's amazing. Sorry, I'm this reading is really translifting me right now. Justice is so such a powerful conclusion, quote unquote, because wherever this leap of faith is taking you, this, you know, attraction for love and you know, this thirst, you know, and hunger for love, and I mean love in a very general sense, right? Love of life, love of yourself, love of others, you know, that the equilibrium that you are experiencing, gosh, anyway, is really making you collaborate. It's opening you up to various people around you, you know, and having different experiences with these relationships, you know, like friendships, business, love, you know, family. Like, it's really reflected in every sphere, which is what I want to say with the Justice. And it's obviously it's the reciprocal, like it's a two-way street. So I mean, it fulfills you totally. I mean, this is amazing. Wow, for me it's the strongest right now. But hey. you guys all got really nice readings. Okay, let's move on and do Capricorn. Okay, how's Capricorn loving life? How's Capricorn loving themselves? And how is that expressing itself in their life? We have Patience, which is Temperance. Let's see how else is Capricorn taking this on, I guess. Okay, Four of Air. Let's see. Then there's the Nine of Earth, Ten of Fire, and Eight of Fire. Okay. So there's no water. I just want to point out because, and the reason I'm mentioning this is I do have air, earth, and fire. So because I'm seeing three elements on four, I'm noticing that there's no water. But we'll see how that resonates with the rest here, right? So first card here, Patience. So there's definitely for you, right now, loving life or loving yourself requires patience. So I think that you've been impatient with life, you know, wanting to have more love in your life, wanting to have, you know, that partner or those, you know, there's something about patience being pointed out in terms of what you need to incorporate to reach that state of loving life more fully, or at least feeling like there's more love in your life, right? And even just more self-love. So you need to forgive yourself maybe for a few things. There's definitely, and you need patience. Like forgiving oneself, it's funny because for having tried to do that for myself, you know, I've struggled with it, literally. And then when eventually I was lucky enough, I won't get into the details, but there was one thing I did forgive myself for. And the way it played out was, you know, I was trying so hard to try to forgive myself and I couldn't. I just couldn't for years, okay? And then just one day it happened. It's like it fell off of my, you know, like off my like a weight falling off my shoulders. And it just, you don't know when that piece is just going to come off. And the thing is, when it does come off, it's quick. It's just, it comes off. So it's the whole getting there, that whole thing is what requires patience, right? Okay, and then I guess what I'm inclined to say is that if there's something that you need to forgive yourself for, then let's see if it's shown here. You are standing alone right now, right? You're in a period of rest, of exile, sort of a self-imposed exile, quote unquote, of, you know, and being alone and single, independent. So there's definite energy of, you know, this is probably where patience comes in, that, you know, you are still standing alone, and that you should not fret over this, right? Just divine timing. Look, divine timing. The wheel again, this movement. I can't believe, I think there was a wheel for each sign almost. And then here, this 8 of fire, which I mean, all these beautiful, in these fire cards, right? You know, all these pictures of, you know, fire or lamps and light, and this glow is so warm. The orange of the colors, there's so much warmth in here. So this love is very warm, you know, it warms your heart, I want to say. And then here, pandas for me are such a gentle creature. You know, they're slow, they're soft, you know, I believe they mate for life, if I'm not mistaken. You know, and so for me they represent peacefulness and gentleness, really. And that's a beautiful energy, because I think that you're really out of this moment in time where you're alone and maybe you feel bare, meaning like the well is dry, that, you know, like you don't feel the love, you don't feel, you know, quenched. So here, when this energy, when this fire transmutes, you know, and this movement transmutes, you know, patience into forgiveness, once you've forgiven yourself, then you reach a state of peace. And you become a lot more gentle with yourself, which is also a form of forgiveness. Extremely beautiful. I'm stoked. It's one of those readings where I'm actually going to confess to you that I started it off and I had I was wondering where I was going to go with that, and then I'm just, the way it unfolded, I just find it so beautiful. And it's not a praise to myself, okay, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I find it's extremely beautiful what I was able to see that I wasn't seeing in the beginning, is what I'm saying. So let's move on to Aquarius. Let's see. Aquarius is, how are you loving life? And how are you loving yourself, Aquarius is? So Aquarius being the opposite sign of Leo, I wonder how the new moon will affect them. Let's see how that plays out. Okay, this card was under. Okay, so call, judgment, 5 of fire, the hangman. I told you I was reading all uprights, right? So never mind if you see them come up reversed. I'm doing all uprights. 9 of fire, 7 and 6 of water. 7 and 6. Okay. That's quite a long story here. Let me think about this. Let me look at this first. All right. Aquarius is. Okay, I'm gonna do something as some, I guess, you know, as you might not notice, but there's no specific spread. The way I pull cards is depending on how many cards fall or not, and I also like to rearrange the cards. So it's not very conventional, but it's my way of doing things, and the way I'm seeing things here is there's like 3 groups of energies. And it's very distinct, and I want to focus on the reading in that fashion, if you let me. Like you have a choice. Okay, so I've grouped Judgment and Hangman, which is really interesting because we had these 2 cards come up for, was it Cancer? Sorry, I forget, and I was telling you that this gave off an energy of as if I was reading the World card. So let's just say that for now and leave them there. I'm going to show you the rest. You have 5 of fire and 9 of fire, so I'm grouping fire together. And then you have 7 and 6 of water, which I'm grouping water together. So that's why major fire, water. So that tells me the way Aquarius is, I guess, opening up to love in their life, or the way it manifests for them. I see there's like 3 spheres of life, okay? Which is interesting because ideally, the way I see things at least, you know, love should you know, transpire everything you do, you know, any sphere of your life, you know, and not necessarily feel like it's compartmentalized, I think is how you say. But here feels compartmentalized. So, and that's quite Aquarius, by the way. That's a very strong Aquarius trait, to be able to separate things, detach, and, you know, and it sometimes comes off as very cold. They come off as cold for doing that, you know. And it's interesting because it really plays out here where Aquarius is, you know, they have emotions here on one side, and then they have their action-oriented side here with the fire. So here I have a 5 and a 9. Here I have a 7 and a 6. And so in terms of their emotions, I'm going to focus on this first because we're talking about love in their life. I think that for them, in the current situation or in this moment, for some reason, they're going back to memories. They're going back to memories that, you know, by definition, I think that you memorize an event when you have strong emotions attached to it. But I think that, you know, that's even more emphasized here, because I think that the memories that Aquarius is focusing on right now are ones that were particularly strong. And what's happening here is that it puts them in a state of daydreaming. And I think that these memories here, they're floating around Aquarius, right? And I think that there's a cycle here where they need to reassess, or, you know, look at their life, their emotional life, you know, and see where they have different shapes here. You have a fish, you know, a shell, etc. So they're looking at all these different things that played out, you know, and for some reason this, and especially that the 6th, right, was here, like, it's like she's really looking back. She's looking back at these things, and her here, she's looking up at these things. So there's definitely an energy of limbo, which is actually here with the Hangman. So there's something about this process where Aquarius is kind of stopped in time for some reason. It's interesting. There's no, I don't sense the wheel. There is a wheel here. The fact of having all these memories turn or spin. You know, when you're a baby and you have these, what are they called? Mobile, and then it turns. And so you have these things dangling, and there's music, and it puts the baby asleep. That's what I get, a mobile. A mobile of your memories. I hope that's the word, mobile. Anyway, and then here, I guess that's more internal, and here on the external, Aquarius is very focused on action. It's a very, it's, you know, 5 and 9 are not the easiest energies typically with fire. So there's definitely external struggle. So what I'm feeling is that I think that this, whatever the lack of harmony that they're feeling, maybe they're feeling out of touch with, you know, loving themselves and loving life and having others love them, or just plain old harmonious relationships. And so because of that, this, I guess, uneasiness, you know, and things are not fluid with others, I think that that's what projects them into, you know, a to go into introspection. And this is why we get these 2 cards of, you know, having, you know, this process. You're gonna have, you're gonna learn something out of this. You know, it's gonna teach you something. So, but you need to wait and you know, sit in that and do the work of that, you know, to get to this lesson. And so hopefully here, there's no real outcome for me in terms of where is this headed. It's more telling me that you're in a process. And you have many cards here, so I think that for now, I guess the end game is attaining the lesson, okay, is where you're headed. So how long that takes, I don't know, but, and then once you learn the lesson, then that's what I'm not seeing here, right? That's not what's being shown, and it's okay, because we don't need to see this at this point. It's, you know, the energy of the new moon is where you're actually, you know, maybe initiating this process, or maybe gaining the awareness that this is what's going on for you, you know, and what was triggered, or what triggered the start of the process, and then where it's going to lead in terms of, you know, bringing you to I guess, higher grounds, if you want. I don't know exactly why I'm saying it like that, but for me it feels like you're gonna reach higher grounds. Probably get a better viewpoint, right, from being from looking things from higher up, I guess is how I want to say it. So there, let's do Pisces. Pisces. Let's see. Okay, dear Pisces, how are you loving life? And how are you loving yourself? It's very, very difficult things for Pisces to love themselves, right? It takes them years to know themselves, and then yeah. So sometimes learning to love themselves takes as long as it takes to know to know oneself. It's kind of intertwined. I don't know. That's my take on it. I'm fine if you have a different opinion. Put it in the comments if you do. Okay, Pisces. Pisces, Pisces. Let's take a look at this. 6 of air. You have the Fool and the 2 of earth. Okay. So Pisces is transitioning. Definitely transitioning. So there's no wheel, but there's movement. And definitely there's a transition. I think Pisces is being transported. So Pisces is on a voyage to self-love and learning to appreciate life, you know. And I think that it's making them fly. This boat is like sort of is navigating the sky. It's quite beautiful. And so there's a lot of elevation for Pisces in this transition. And so I think it's very meaningful for them. And then the Fool here, again, we had that for Saggies, I think, right? This kind of super enthusiastic and very fresh outlook. This is what happens, right? The fact that they are taken out of the very dense physicality, because they're being elevated and transported, you know, into much subtler realms in terms of the finesse of, you know, loving and, you know, appreciating and just even being conscious of the energies of love, right, around them. Life, love for themselves, for others, again, always, all 3 levels, is really, is such a beautiful, fresh, it's a fresh start, really. And then they move towards the 2 of earth, which is, there's still, I guess, a balancing act. You know, I think that this newfound, I guess, love for life and love for themselves, because it's newfound, is still a balancing act. They will still need to work on this, you know, and some days they will love themselves very strongly, some days not at all. They'll fall back into their old ways, right? So I think that for a while, it will be something to keep working on, so that, you know, you eventually come to a much more, I guess, sustained sort of love, you know, deep love for life and deep appreciation of your talents and of your foibles. I'm not sure how to say, but your weaknesses, I guess. So there's a little bit of the idea of forgiveness, the way we had for, I think it was Capricorn. I think, sorry if I'm mistaken, but so there is a little bit of that energy, you know, learning to be indulgent. Just be indulgent with yourselves, Pisces. And it'll bring you a lot more satisfaction. You know, you'll feel the love for what it is instead of for what you want it to be. Which is quite a Piscean thing, isn't it? Anyway, guys, I wish you a very, very meaningful and significant and powerful and beautiful and loving new moon tomorrow. Please cross that portal with light and love in your heart. Trust that, you know, the universe has got your back. So to all signs, I will see you soon. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you all.